You made it to Google Hangouts for this little lesson. Glad to see you today.
Glad to be here.
Good. So today I just want to talk to you a little bit about linear and exponential functions because some people have been asking questions about that. And I would like to show you how that works in the table and in the equation. Okay. So
All right.
I'm going to switch you over to a lesson that I have here. Okay, I'm learning how to do this, so be a little patient. Okay, so you can see that now, right?
Yep.
Excellent. So this is just two examples. One is a linear example and one is an exponential example. And I wanted you to see a comparison between those two different kinds of functions. So if we just kind of fill in this table, this is the linear function. And if we plug in x is 0 here, we will get what we will get there. We get -5, right?
Right.
If we plug in 1, we'd get 4 minus 5, which is -1. If we plug in 2, we'll have 8 minus 5, which is 3. And if we plug in 3, we'll get 12 minus 5, which is 7. And what I really want you to notice is that when this is a linear equation, right, where this thing is the slope, that every time this x value goes up by 1, what do you notice this goes up by over here? What happens over here?
We're just going to add 4 every time.
Yeah, it adds 4 every time, doesn't it?
Right.
This adds 4 every single time. So this went up by 1. This goes up by 1. Then what happens here is this goes up by 4. And so what you have is you have this additive property with linear equations. Every time the x's go up by 1, the y's go up by whatever
4.
this value is, whatever the slope is, right?
Exactly.
Slope. So every time that x value goes up by 1, that y value is going to go up by the slope. Whereas in an exponential equation, if we plug in x is 0, remember that 2 to the 0 is
always 1.
Always 1. Good. So 1 times 3 will give you 3. If I plug in 1, I have 3 times 2, which will give me 6. If I plug in 2, I have 2 to the 2, which is 4 times 3 is 12. And if I plug in 3, I have 2 to the 3, which is 2 times 2 times 2.
That would be
8 times 3 is 24.
Right.
So what do you notice is happening here? Every time this goes up by 1,
the y value doubles.
The y value is doubling. What's another way of saying doubling?
Going up by 1 more power.
By what?
By 1 more power.
So it's multiplying by 2. That's
by
what double means, right? So this goes up by 1.
That gets multiplied by 2.
That gets multiplied by 2. And so what's really, really important about understanding the difference between exponential, this is exponential, and linear, this is linear, is that in linear functions, going up by 1 gives you an additive pattern where it goes up by the slope every time. And in exponential functions, going up by 1, the x value, the independent variable going up by 1, gives you a multiplicative. In other words, you're multiplying by 2 every time, or by whatever this value is, right?
Right.
And that makes sense because exponentiation is really just repeated multiplication. That's what an exponent means, right? Repeat multiplication. So that's what this does. Right, so that is just kind of an idea about what happens with exponential and linear functions.
I see.
I would like to go back to, here we go. I think I did the wrong thing. Hi, I'm back again. So does that help you out a little bit with exponential and linear functions in tables?
That was just the refresher I needed. But what do you? Did you have a cubic function yet?
What function?
Cubic.
We're not doing those yet, so we'll get there. Don't worry.
Okay, I think that was algebra 2 if I remember my high school days correctly.
Yeah, well, this is an algebra 1 class, but we're going to get to some polynomials in a little while.
All right.
Yeah, did you put any questions? Did anybody have any questions in their comment section there in the in our comments? Nope, nobody had any questions in our comments over here. So you can chat anytime anybody has a question. You can just throw a question on in here and we will be able to see it. If you don't want to just interrupt with your voice, you can always throw some information in this group chat, which is helpful. All right, so I'm glad that helped you out a little bit, and we'll meet again soon. Bye now.
See you later.